Finding Common Battleground is an attempt by two brothers, one conservative, the other progressive, to have civil conversations about politics with a little help from their friends.
All right, welcome to another episode of Finding Common Battleground. This is, I think, the best podcast ever because it's all about, we're not going to just, it's not an echo chamber. We're not just going to tell you everything you want to hear. We have both sides represented here, the left and the right. And we're going to talk about things and try to find, as the name suggests, that we're going to find common ground between our political sides. So it's a more civilized kind of podcast. Which I like. So we've got Ryan.
Instead of hearing one side be wrong, you can hear both sides be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
Got Ryan and Josh Craig, and Ryan is the one in the red shirt, even though he's the liberal. And Josh is the one with the beard and the bluish shirt, even though he's the conservative. So they, for some reason, like to wear the opposite colors of their political ideology, but it's not like one ideology owns a color or something like that. So you can wear whatever you want.
I'll do it to try to get in his head so I can destroy him.
Our sponsor, Lux Bidets. We're all big bidet fans here. We like to clean ourselves. It's a civilized podcast. We like to clean ourselves in a civilized way. I think it's a little weird to wipe yourself clean with a dry paper thing, but yeah. So if you've ever thought about it, check it out. Today it's another rapid fire. I got a number of questions. We're just basically going to be peppering these guys with questions and just get a feel for what they're thinking at this moment with some of current events that are going on around the world. You two ready?
Let's do it.
Let's dive in.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's jump into this one. Biden doubled down on loan forgiveness. So I think what did he do a couple months ago? It was $10,000, and now it's $20,000 for certain. I think it's Pell Grants.
Pell Grant recipients. Yeah.
Yeah, for Pell Grant recipients. So he's basically gone even more than initially, and so he's gotten a bit of some students are happy. He's gotten some pushback from a lot of conservatives that don't think this is fair. What do you think? Who's thinking? Who's got an opinion on this?
Josh, go.
Now I have an opinion on it. First, let me congratulate some of our loyal listeners who just got 20 grand. Hunter, attaboy. Jake, good on ya, buddy. It's so stupid. It's so when he did his stupid little speech, he said, we're going to go after these predatory lenders that are screwing over these students by paying them exactly what they wanted. He didn't go after anybody. He didn't fix the problem. He didn't fix the predatory lending system. He just paid the lenders. Wow, way to stick it to him, Joe. Way to use taxpayer money to not fix anything. Way to just be political, because that's all this is. It's a political move. It's absolutely transparent. Everybody knows it. And then when somebody screamed at him as he's walking away in a befuddled manner, is this fair, Joe? Is this fair what you did? And he turns around with the dumbest non sequitur of all time. Says, is it fair that some people own billion-dollar companies? What? He has no justification for doing it. It's just an obvious political move. It's how much did it cost, Ryan? It was
$300 billion.
Like the biggest bailout ever that the government's done. It's crazy.
Definitely not the biggest one, but yeah, it's we've done bigger.
It's the biggest bailout in a certain area. I don't remember what the classification was.
Oh, it might be for the number of direct recipients.
Yeah, something like that. So 300 bit. Where are we getting this money? We're already, by simple math, we're already the poorest country on the earth because we have no money. We have negative lots of money.
We have. So what? So that's actually interesting. Clarify that with me. So yeah. So it basically with the debt forgiveness, it's the U.S. government paying these student loan companies. That's what they're doing on behalf of the students.
Yeah, it's not like they're handing people the money. In a way, they are, but you hand it to the student and it goes right to these predatory lenders. They're not fixing the problem.
But you do realize that the federal government is the primary lender.
Doesn't matter. People own the debt, right?
Sure, but so it's not that the federal government is handing out the money.
Ryan breaking up to you, Tom? I'm getting really bad.
You're a little choppy, Ryan.
Really?
Yeah, you were breaking up. So repeat what you said. I don't even know what you just said.
Strange. I mean, if I have to change my headset, I will. But
that's better.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
The point I was just trying to make is the federal government is the backer of a lot of these loans. So it's not so much. I mean, yes, there will be some transfer of money to lenders, but a lot of that is just money that we're writing off that we're not going to get, right? So it's money that's not coming into the treasury.
Oh, that makes it okay because we have.
No, I'm not saying it makes it okay. Spare. You're just saying.
You're just clarifying.
Yeah, I'm clarifying.
That's
you're
fair.
Like, oh, he's throwing money to all these lenders, and I'm like, that's not exactly accurate, right?
No, it is. You're not wrong, but he is just throwing money at the lenders that own a lot of this debt. He's not fixing anything. He's just perpetuating the broken system.
We talked about this before when we had our whole podcast on this, right? I said it would make sense to forgive some student loan debt if he fixes the problem.
He didn't fix anything.
Right. No, he didn't fix anything. I'm conceding that.
I'm glad you acknowledged that. And you know, you can talk on top of that. We're heading into, we already have bad inflation, so we're just going to throw another 300 billion just out there.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that does get me. I don't know enough about the student loan dynamic to have a really strong opinion. But this is it is inflationary. It is a type of stimulus, and that's like, oh well, that's a little bit of gasoline on the fire and the Fed's like, hey, we're trying to fix this. You're making it worse.
And one more thing, and Ryan can speak better to this than probably any of us, but who is it helping? You know, because I congratulated Jake and Hunter. Who's it helping? Is it really helping poor people? No, it's Jake and Hunter. Okay. Jake's our nephew. Hunter's Jake's good friend, who's a friend of mine. They're both in law school. They're both super intelligent guys. They have debt because they're going to law school. They're going to pay that off because they're really smart and they're upwardly mobile. So most of these people that are getting these bailouts, they're not like the really disenfranchised on the low end of the spectrum that really need this kind of money. Is sorry, not to throw.
These guys have.
I'm not buying that for a second.
Those guys have those qualifying loans.
Yeah, the Pell Grants.
You know that? Oh,
yeah. I was talking to them the other night when this dropped, and they're like, "It's stupid, but sweet."
They're like,
right?
Woohoo!
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm not.
You don't think so, Ryan?
I don't think that's just accurate. I think it's inaccurate, right? So I was looking at the numbers today. I was reading an article about this just in my news. And the majority of people who have student loans, okay, they have less than $30,000 in student loans. And many of the people who have student loans don't have a lot of money. And the reason why they're struggling to pay them back is because they don't have good jobs. This was the problem that we talked about in that previous episode of people taking out student loans when they're getting a degree that is not going to allow them to pay back the student loans. That's the problem that we established. Like that's the real issue that we established in that previous episode. Admittedly, and this is where it gets complicated, about half of the student loan debt is by a small percentage of people who have a lot of debt. Okay. So those who have a lot of debt, this is a drop in the bucket for them. I mean, I don't want to minimize it, right? It's something. But if you've got $200,000 in student loan debt and you get $10,000 back, it's not over, right? But for many of those people who don't have a lot of money, who came out with degrees that are not going to pay them a lot of money to be able to pay this off, wiping out $10,000, for many of them, it wiped out the whole thing, or it wiped out more than half. Right. And that is a huge deal for a very large percentage of people who have student loans. Mm-hmm. So it is actually a really big deal for a sizable percentage of them because they didn't have the money to pay it back. And that wipes out the vast majority of their loans.
I agree. Would have been a huge deal for me to get 20 grand. I could put that to really good use right now, but I didn't get it.
I'm not
Right.
sure what your point is, Josh. It sounds like you're just throwing mud to throw mud.
No.
Is it fair? Biden was asked, is this fair?
Well,
Is it fair?
define fair here. Like, what do you even mean by fair? How would this be fair? What kind of a system would be fair?
Why did he pick them to get the bailout? Because there's plenty of people that are underwater on mortgages, that have credit card debt, that have they're in debt on their cars. There's plenty of people that went into debt to start businesses. My first year in my business, I was in debt. Okay. Sure. Why are we privileging them? These people are because of their degrees, they're probably going to make more money than I make because I don't have a degree and I own a small business, right? A lot of them will. Jake and Hunter certainly will.
Sure, okay. Some of them will, not a lot of them.
So explain to me if you think it's fair. Why not credit card debt? What's the difference? And I know you're going to say we need these professionals.
Nope. Okay, tell me there. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not that I want to bring her up, but Marjorie Taylor Greene was complaining about this, yet one of her companies got something like $160,000 in debt forgiveness and loans from the federal government during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So she's perfectly happy taking money PPP. When it comes to her, PPP loans, right? When it comes to her company, and companies got hundreds of billions of dollars as a result of that process. That was done by a conservative administration, and she doesn't seem to have that because that was her company. But how is it different? All I'm saying is you're saying, oh, he's targeting a specific group of people, and I'm saying the federal government targets all sorts of people to buy them out, right? To give them money. We did this during the pandemic to literally millions of people, and many of them were very large corporations who got massive loans. So if you're going to go
how it's different,
go after all of them.
No,
Why are you singling out the people who went to college?
I was eligible for PPP. I didn't take it. And I know there's a lot of corrupt business people. I know firsthand some business people that didn't need it and took it. So the way it was implemented was absolutely horrendous. And I don't care if it was conservative or Democrat that rolled it out. If you're going to roll something like that out because it's necessary, and let's talk about the differences. The difference is, one, people do need jobs. Two, a lot of these companies were mandated by the government that they had to shut down. Okay, that's not the case with people pulling out student loans. You did that of your own free will and choice. Nobody had a gun to your head. You weren't going to go to jail if you did it. You weren't going to get fined if you did it. You did that and said, I understand what I'm doing. I signed this piece of paper. I'm going to pay it back. That's not even close to the same thing as what happened with businesses during the pandemic. So many businesses are out of business now, right? I don't remember the numbers. I saw it a couple of days ago. And then same number of businesses just went bankrupt. So you can't conflate those two things. They're not even remotely similar. Of course, if the government's going to mandate that you can't do business, but you still have to employ people, and you can't, you're not going to go bankrupt. Maybe they should pay some money. Okay, that was a pretty crazy scenario. Not that
I actually agree with you, Josh. And
because I'm right. Yes.
But here's the issue, because the more I thought about this, because I was actually I did listen to Bernie Sanders and a couple others. Here's where I do think isn't applicable. And that's if you go further back to a further back bailout in the 2008 and the too big to fail. Right. And that's where Wall Street got a free pass. Right. Sure.
And all the banks and all companies.
All the banks in Wall Street and all the bankers.
Yeah, and disgusting.
It is disgusting. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff that makes, it's the Occupy Wall Street kind of movement, right? Of hey, these guys are getting all the free stuff. And so after doing a little research, I do feel they definitely, a lot of fat cats have gotten away there as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's not forget the middle class who get to write off their mortgage loans.
What are
you talking about?
If you have a mortgage on your house, you get to reduce that from your taxable income.
This year?
Every year.
Okay. Right.
And
you're saying
isn't that a direct subsidy from the federal government to middle class people?
To people who are middle class and hurts renters and
there you go.
Non-property owners. Right. Yeah.
There's kind of a strange inflation.
There's a number of those.
Right. Yeah. There are lots of things. Josh is trying to single out this one group and say, they're terrible because they get money from the government. I'm saying
No, I'm not saying
everybody
that
gets
people are
money from the
terrible.
government. Everybody gets money from the government. It happens all the time. So why are we saying that this is the particularly bad one? And don't get me wrong, I don't know that I like this. I don't think I agree with how he did it because going back to our original podcast, he didn't fix the system. So Josh and I actually agree on this point.
We can absolutely agree on that.
But the fact that he gave a handout, right? Like politicians do this. They do this all the time.
Well,
right? Don't excuse it, though.
I'm not. They're buying votes. I'm literally calling it what it is. He's buying
as long
votes.
as you call it what it is, that's fine.
Okay, but why are we singling this out? Because all governments do this. My government, in Florida, right, is doing the same thing right now. He's
there we go.
Money.
We have to talk about Florida at least 4 times every podcast.
So the more I thought about this, the less mad I am about it, and like because it does ring, because it is. I think it's a total bribe to Biden's constituencies, right? Of like, but it's. I feel like Trump did something similar when he did the tax changes and to penalize the blue states, right? Yep. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was just like, stick it to you liberals, right? And it was pretty, just egregious. Like, I'm just going to do a favor for my voters, right?
He even did some tax things to help like his rich friends, right? Yeah. That's egregious. I'm sorry. I don't care if you have an R or D. I don't know why we keep standing for it, because the rich just get richer. Yes. And they screw the rest of us. They take our money and hand it around to each other and go, look what I did. I stuck it to your political enemy.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem, right? That nowadays is like, we call it out on one side's like, well, that's not fair. And then we always like, well, but your side did it. Yeah. And we did. And we always need to call it out in every, we need to call it out consistently.
Yep.
And say, hey, this isn't right. I wish
we need to do more than call it out. I mean, we've been calling it out. Nothing's changing.
No. All right. Okay.
Guys, we've had some agreement on that one.
That was good. Okay. Next question. Okay. Is all right. Let's go into this one, Ryan. Is BYU racist? I'm gonna have Ryan cue up this because I actually don't know the full context of this.
Right.
Ryan was mentioning it.
So
give it to us, Ryan. What happens?
Sure.
At BYU, that's Brigham Young University.
So there was a volleyball game, women's volleyball. The game was at BYU, and I think it was actually Duke playing BYU. That's the part that I'm a little fuzzy on. But Duke was there. I know it was Duke. I just wasn't remember who they were playing. But Duke was playing at BYU. And there was a member on the Duke team who's black, a black woman. And
it was a girls' basketball team.
Yes, it was
volleyball. Okay.
And from what I was reading something about this again just the other day, I don't think it happened during the first set, but during the second set, every time she got up to serve, she could very clearly hear somebody calling her the N-word from the BYU student section.
Oh.
Okay. It was very clear, right? So she immediately kind of, once they took a break or whatever, she went and told her coach. Her coach told several people, the BYU officials. It got bad enough. I mean, other players heard it too. Mm-hmm. It got bad enough that BYU security stationed a police officer right by their bench.
This is all during the game.
This is during the game, right? Yeah. So that in like multiple sets later, it's still happening. I don't know all the details because the details are still kind of fuzzy on this, but eventually so it continues throughout the match. After the game, a white man approaches her and says, as she's walking out, like, watch your back. I know where your bus is, which is awful. And then BYU security, in conjunction with other people, they eventually kind of think they found somebody who was the culprit.
Yeah.
And they banned them from all future games, but it turns out they banned the wrong person. That's the latest information. So they didn't actually find the right person. But Duke was so uncomfortable that they were supposed to play again the next day. They wouldn't play at BYU. So they found another location in Provo that was like kind of an undisclosed, was like, we're not going to tell everybody we're playing because they just did not feel safe.
So they played the match, but no audience.
I don't know if they had an audience or not. I just know they moved location. They were not going to play on BYU's campus because
they weren't playing BYU. They were playing.
They were playing BYU, but the second game was actually against somebody else. So the next day they played somebody else, and they just didn't play on BYU.
And they didn't want to. I see. And BYU was just hosting. That's okay. Interesting.
I'm so glad, Ryan.
Last weekend.
What do you think, Ryan? What's your take?
There are racist people.
Right. Yeah.
There are racist people. The way you word it is like, is BYU racist? There are many people, let's say on my side of the aisle, who would say absolutely that's the case.
Aha!
I don't know.
We just proved once again how racist BYU is. Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to kind of connect one person yelling that out, right, with an entire institution. Now, there's clearly an institutional history of racism. Like, we can't challenge that, right? So there's an institutional history of racism at BYU. Is it continuing?
Yeah.
Is it continuing as an institution that is blatantly racist? Probably to some degree. And I know some people who have written about this specifically, particularly in the athletics program, where they would argue that it's institutionally racist and there are serious problems. I can't claim that everybody at BYU is racist. I'm not going to claim that. I don't think that's a fair statement to make.
So what's your conclusion?
I'm waiting for Josh to respond because I'm sure he's going to jump down my throat for some reason, even though I don't think I said anything, inaccurate. I was just describing
You very nearly just walked into a guillotine. So I'm glad that you showed some restraint.
Because you guys reject this idea of structural racism, right?
No.
Can't be structural racism.
So this game happened over the weekend, 4 or 5 days ago. And immediately when it happened, what Ryan just described was the news line that every major news organization in the world picked up and threw out there. Racism at BYU. They're at it again. These douchebags, they're so racist and they're dropping the M-bomb everywhere and nobody did anything about it. What Ryan just described was the news article that was out for 4 or 5 days. This morning, they finally released what actually happened. Okay, because this is always what the news does. They had several cameras filming the entire game plus everybody around it. So the whole thing's filmed from several angles with audio. So BYU security plus police have been through the footage several times.
Not accurate.
Really?
That's not accurate. Yes. Salt Lake Tribune released an article today and said that the police are no longer going through the footage. They kicked it back to BYU athletics. Okay, so now it's all back on BYU athletics to go through.
See how badly you want to skewer the church? So what happened? They went through the footage.
Non sequitur. Thank you, Josh.
Whatever. Okay. They found absolutely no indication that anybody said the N-word. There was no audio of that anywhere. The girl in question, she said that it was from every time she served, starting from the first set, that every time she served, somebody was saying the N-word. That's what she said. There was no indication that it happened at all. Nobody moved. Nobody was looking around. Nothing. There's no indication that anything happened. The guy that got kicked out, that she identified by voice, she said, "Oh, it was definitely that guy." The video of him, he's not even in the gym for her first serve. And the second time she's doing service. I don't know what the volleyball term is. Serving. Yeah. He's on his phone, in the corner of the gym. He's not even. That's
come out. That's what I said.
Yeah.
They
got the wrong guy.
Yeah, I said that, Josh.
No. I said that. There's no indication that anybody said anything. No. So she went and told them.
I think that's a big reach. I don't think it's not.
There's no indication
her whole
that
team
anybody
is hearing it. You think all of Duke is lying for some reason?
I think she told them, and then they're like, "Oh, that's horrible." Okay. She said that it's coming from the student section. The BYU basketball team is sitting in the student section. Guess what color they are? You have a whole team of 7-foot-tall black dudes, and you don't think one of them is going to stand up and be like, "Who's dropping the N-bomb? I'm going to kill you," right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's insane.
If you heard anyone dropping the N-word from an audience, I would assume there would be a reaction.
So you don't think there's one student at BYU that would have stood up and be like,
right? I agree.
This is
why people are.
It's so far-fetched. It's so stupid. You don't think anybody throughout the whole course of a game, every time she's serving, be like, "Dude, shut up." You don't think there's one person?
If you're surrounded by a bunch of racists, then no.
Right.
There it is. There's your confirmation bias.
No, I'm just saying you're going all the way to the extreme and saying, yeah, we're going to dismiss the claims of this woman, right, and her team, and the police officers, and like all the people who are there who are basically saying, okay, let's protect her and let's provide some security here.
Because
right?
one woman heard it. This is exactly what happened with Juicy
One
Smollett.
woman.
Exactly.
No, it's more than one woman. Other people have validated what she said.
So, nobody else heard it in the gym. There's no audio of it happening. Nobody on the video is responding to it. It didn't happen.
Here's what I want to know, Ryan. Do you think that the school mishandled the situation as it was arising? Do you think there was any mishandling? Or do you think they handled it appropriately?
Well, so
unfortunate as it was, do you think they handled it?
So, I mean, let's assume it actually happened, unlike Josh, who's saying, nope, didn't happen, right?
There's no evidence of anything happening.
Well, and it doesn't matter, right? Like if
her voice doesn't matter. Like what she said doesn't matter. We're just not going to trust her. Okay, so let's say it happened, right?
Okay, sure.
What would be the right response? And I'm not saying that how BYU responded. This is why I said, I'm going to go so far as to say this is structural racism at BYU, because BYU did take it seriously, right?
That's what I'm
said. They took this seriously. They put a security officer by the bench.
They did everything reasonable.
I think they responded fairly reasonably. And the director of athletics at BYU, I don't remember if it was a male or female or whatever, went to her hotel room afterwards and like listened to her to like say, hey, what happened? Give me the details. And she said, I felt heard by the director of athletics at BYU. Like they listened to me and I felt validated. Like they understood what happened. So I don't think anybody who listens to that whole piece and like recognizes that BYU actually tried to respond to this while it was happening. I don't think anybody's going, oh, BYU athletics, they're the worst. They didn't do anything.
Except for every major news media. Did you not see any of the headlines?
Well, gosh, I read all of these stories. None of them came out and said BYU did nothing.
They all said racism at BYU.
Right.
That's
no,
what the headline
I totally
racism
agree.
at BYU. That's valid if somebody was saying the N-word. That is racism.
Which there's no evidence
BYU.
of. She said it happened all game long. As soon as she said it, the BYU put a security guard at the bench to look for the guy. And what did the security guard say? Did you read that interview?
He didn't hear it. Yep.
He said there was nothing.
Okay. He said he got bored. He didn't hear it.
Address the basketball team. You think 5-7 foot tall black dudes are just going to sit there and be cool with that?
I actually agree with you. I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if everyone's like, oh yeah, he's saying the N-word. This guy three down from me is saying the N-word and I don't care.
You really think
I would be really shocked
that racist?
If that was happening. But
there's not one person in
I
the
think
gym,
there are a lot of people
couple
who
thousand
are afraid
people.
of racists.
But I do agree
that's pathetic.
I think it is pathetic, Josh, that a lot of people might have
your
heard
take's
that
pathetic.
and did nothing.
Your take's pathetic.
Man, I really have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing that someone would be saying the N-word, probably the worst word you could say, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, it's fine. I would
and not even react on the video. Nobody's looking at the guy. Nobody's glaring at the guy. Nobody says anything.
Which
it didn't happen.
Again, if it happened, what does that say about the people sitting next to the guy?
Exactly. See,
that's
statistically speaking, did it happen?
But Josh, you don't know that.
Right.
You're standing here saying it didn't happen. I wasn't there.
I live in Utah.
You can't say that.
What percentage of the people here? Yes, I can. What percentage of the people here in Utah do you think are actually racist? What percentage do you think would say nothing?
Huh?
That's absurd. That's absurd and it's slanderous. And it really pisses me off.
I agree, Josh.
It absolutely is.
You're slandering that player. At
2,000.
I agree.
2,000 people in that gym. Not one of them would stand up to that. That's freaking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it would be like 50 people right around him that could actually hear it.
Dismissing a woman who's saying that this is happening and saying that she's lying. That's slanderous and ridiculous, Josh. That's exactly what you're saying.
I totally think it could have.
She can be wrong.
I totally think it could have happened at least once, right? I would be shocked if he was repeatedly saying it and nobody did anything, right?
That's what she said.
That would be shocking.
She said I think her exact words were every time I served.
Mm-hmm.
That's
starting in set
that's
2.
Interesting.
Okay. If she said somebody said it once, okay, maybe somebody did say it and like ran out the door and they're a piece of crap and nobody heard it. Maybe she misunderstood what somebody said. Okay,
That's
maybe somebody
too.
said Nigeria, right? It's possible, but she said it
and-
happened constantly and none of the
Okay.
students at BYU
And
heard it. Nobody
We're
did
leaving
anything.
out, we're leaving out the
Pathetic.
other piece. The rest of the team, the Duke players, right?
Said they heard
There are
it.
several others. Well, there are several others who are black on the team who are sitting on the bench, and they kept getting their names and their numbers called out by various people, various fans. So not just one, and the whole team agreed on this one. Okay, so they all said they were only calling out the black players, not the white players on the Duke team.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Also comes out, right? And that's the whole team saying, yeah, that happened to us at BYU.
Right.
Boy.
That now,
You can again, Josh, say, no, we don't believe any of these women on the black, these black women
I love
Any
how
of the
you're
women
throwing that.
on the volleyball team.
You're
right?
insinuating that I'm racist and sexist with that. All I'm saying is the obvious thing, if nobody else reports it, nobody else heard it, well, if you don't believe her, you're racist and sexist. That's pathetic.
But what I'm saying is you're dismissing her, and now you're dismissing her whole team, because I'm saying they also said, yeah, there were problems. We did not feel safe in that environment.
Yeah.
Why would the whole team pick up and leave? Right?
To
They said,
defend
we're not
their
gonna play here
teammate?
again.
Have you ever been on a team?
To defend their whole
teammate.
team. To defend their whole team.
You can make that jump. Sure.
Wow.
I will say if all of it happened according to as it was described, that would be really unfortunate. And like,
Sure. We
and
all agree
to-
on that.
yeah, I think we all agree. And I think Ryan, your point that is BYU institutionally, has institutional racism. I would say probably yes. And
No, there's no probably.
well, and
There's a long history of racism at BYU.
Well, there's a long history of racism everywhere, right?
Exactly.
And
Thank
and
you. Let's just
that-
admit that.
Yes. 100%. I always tell everybody, I'm like, we're all racist. Everyone's racist. Like it's just to what, subconscious level. But are they more on a, and is BYU more than the relative, on a relative scale? Probably.
Yeah.
And like, that's unfortunate. Right. And I'm sure I would be more upset if it wasn't like a racist guy shows up at a thing and says some stuff. That's unfortunate. That sucks. Right. I would be more upset if the school didn't respond appropriately. Right. They're like,
Agreed.
yeah, bull crap, and don't do anything. So that's a hard one. Because I remember an article about the Tea Party, and there was a guy. So the Tea Party's protesting outside of Washington D.C. A black senator, goes out and he's like walking across the grounds, and he said someone called him the N-word or slave or something like something derogatory.
Yeah.
And the article was very much, Tea Party people are racist, right? And he even in the senator even says, this reminded me of the days when I was doing protesting with MLK and everything like that, right? And he was very much bringing this up and going along with it. And it's like, was there a racist guy there? Yeah, there probably was. Did he say it? He might have, right? But then it's like, Tea Party's racist, and you're like, you're like,
If I'm thinking of the same incident, they had several videos, at least two different videos of that incident. Nobody said anything.
Yeah,
if it's the one I'm thinking of,
we don't know. We don't even know, but maybe
he whispered it.
It totally could have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he whispered it sensually in his ear. It's possible. There are racists. I'll agree with Ryan on that. But to just paint thousands of people in a gym in 2022, I don't care what state you're in, that nobody would say anything. It's just it's so
that's tough.
partisan.
I wonder if
you have done, Josh. If you were sitting next to that guy,
I would have.
Man, that is a pretty bad word. If someone
you're an idiot,
I would
shut up
like,
now.
You think
we're going outside.
Confronted them.
I have confronted people about that before. I've confronted people that I really like and respect and said, "What the hell are you saying?"
You would too.
That
Ryan,
happened 2 years
right?
ago.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no question.
Okay,
I'll
tell you exactly what I said. This very kind lady. Okay, I think the world of her. She's older. She wanted to do something nice for a relative, and she said, "I want you to go aerate this lawn, and I don't want you to accept money from them. It needs to be done. They need it. I'm going to pay for it." That's a very nice thing to do, right?
Sure.
So she's telling me how to get there. And she said, okay, you take a right at this street, and their house is the one with the nigger caddy. And I went, what?
What?
What did you just say? Apparently that was a thing. Cadillacs were like
Oh.
considered black people cars or something. And this is a nice lady that I know trying to do something nice for somebody else. And she said that. And I said, what the crap are you thinking? I called her out to her face. This is a great lady, raised in a different time, using completely unacceptable language. So for you to insinuate that I wouldn't call it out,
No, I didn't,
dude.
I didn't insinuate that. I asked.
Of course I would.
Okay. Now, does the context matter? Right. And again, this is a purely like, I'm asking questions. I'm not trying to insinuate anything here. You did that.
If I find myself, unfortunately, in a Klan rally surrounded by 50 white supremacists with AKs,
then you're probably
maybe
not
I
call
don't say anything.
Okay. Now let's put
any other situation.
At the BYU game, you think
and don't worry, if you're at a Klan rally,
surrounded by bigger issues, John.
You're already a racist. So,
you've got bigger issues. But you think you would do it at a BYU volleyball
Absolutely.
game with lots of people. Interesting. And I'm not denying. I'm not saying that you wouldn't. I'm just, people don't always.
But don't you think, Ryan, there's almost a hypertension around this? Like almost people are on the flip side of they are very, very sensitive to it, of like you go racist and start saying the N-word, which is a huge deal. Right. I think people would freak out over that over more than anything else. Like
pretty much over.
Do you not agree? Like people are quite sensitive to that word.
In certain parts of the country.
You don't?
No, there are parts. Well, I'm not saying Utah. No, I wasn't even picking Utah. I live in the South.
Except
I live in the South. I did live in Utah. I've lived in Utah for over 20 years.
You did pick Utah. You just said that what you're insinuating is nobody in that gym has the moral fiber to stand up to racism.
Josh,
that's
not at all what I said. You keep reading into it. I live in the South. There are parts here in the South where you hear that. Okay, I'll give you a specific example.
Yeah,
I play paintball. I was out playing paintball with two white guys. Okay, and they dropped it a ton. Now I wasn't playing like directly with them. It was not like they were my buddies and we were hanging out.
You just overheard.
Yeah, I overheard them as we're walking out on the field, and I was like, "This is where I live."
Right.
This is 20 minutes from my house, and it's two white guys dropping this all the time.
Yeah.
So to say that there aren't parts of the country where this is still happening, like that happened less than a year ago.
No, I agree.
So there are parts of the country where it happens. I wasn't saying that it's happening in Provo. That wasn't the insinuation. I'm saying there are pockets where this happens.
I honestly feel like Utah is like got almost a hypersensitivity to that they're like it's interesting. I mean, which is fine. Maybe that's good, but anyway. All right, I'm going to move on. We're going to move past this.
We can complicate that a little bit if you want by bringing in the experience of one of our friends. If you really want to, but we don't have to.
All right, we will.
I'm mad enough right now.
Okay, next question is all right. Survey, recent survey. This was pretty recent. 85% of U.S. adults say that things in the country are heading in the wrong direction. 85, and that's up from I think it was like 75 a few months ago. Let me see if I can get the dates here. With just 14% saying we're going in the right direction. That was done just here in the end of June, so right at the beginning of July, and that's up from when it said 78, where it said we're going in the wrong direction in May. So basically, there's a trend that more and more people say that we're going in the wrong direction. 92% of Republicans say wrong direction. 78% of Democrats are dissatisfied with the direction of the country. What do you guys think about that? That's a pretty high stat. I don't know if it's ever been that high.
With Democrats going 78, that's interesting.
I mean,
Democrats have to buy gas too and buy groceries too. You want to go first, Ryan?
Is this just a knee-jerk reaction to gas prices skyrocketing?
Well, I mean, gas prices have been going down a little bit, right? They're still high. They've been going down. Certainly, inflation is still a concern, right? I did see something the other day that suggested when we adjust for certain things that inflation isn't as bad as people have been making it out to be, but I'm not trying to minimize that. I get that it's bad. What else are people worried about? And maybe I'm just disconnected and I'm not catching everything, but what else would you say people are like upset about and saying that there are problems? I'm wondering that, and again, that's a genuine question. I'm not.
Would you be in the 14%? Would you say it's going in the right direction?
I'm pretty neutral. I don't know that it's going the right direction or the wrong direction right now. I mean, I think things are kind of just.
You would be in the 1%. There would be.
Yes,
like,
I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know.
Not available.
Yeah, I might be right now.
So I've asked Ryan before what he likes about Biden, and it's always he's not Trump. Well, that's why Biden got elected. I'll give Ryan that.
Yes.
But now people are going, oh, turns out he is stupid and he's senile and he's not doing anything. What has he done that's great? Everything that he's done for the past 2 years, and whether you want to blame the war in Ukraine on him or not, I mean, that's not completely fair to blame him, but he certainly didn't stop it because it's happening. We got tension with China. The pullout from Afghanistan was absolutely horrendous. Now we got crazy gas prices,
all international,
inflation,
right? So give me something domestic, because Americans are really ethnocentric. We only care about what's happening in the US.
Well, and I will say this too, because I know the stat was not good when Trump was in office, right? I think the majority of Americans were saying it was going in the wrong direction, but it's instead of getting better though with Biden, it's gotten worse. And so
he hasn't done anything good. I mean, what good thing can you say that he's done that everybody agrees on? Okay, Trump didn't get in any wars and nothing bad happened and the economy was good. Everybody can agree on that. What is Biden? There's no leadership, right? The leadership's all political and it's very, very transparent. And anybody that's paying any kind of attention can see that. No, people aren't that dumb where they're just like, oh yeah, Joe Biden's doing a good job. His clear skies ahead.
Gone up. His approval ratings have just gone up.
Slight tick. Probably based off of some people in the bailout and the Dobbs thing, right? Probably not going to last because these things drop out.
Well, it might last, but his
not
approval
if
rating
there's still inflation.
His approval rating is quite low.
It was low. It's come back up, and it's.
Well, I mean it's still pretty. I think it was 33%, and I think it's like 38 now. I mean, either way, that's
pretty dang low.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is. I'm not disagreeing with that. And
I'm just saying it's like, well, I don't think it's gonna
it's gone up,
but
gas prices are going down.
It's at 43% right now.
But Ryan makes a good point that it's like, what is there to be super dissatisfied with, right? How is your life horrible? What?
I mean, I pointed out two things: gas and inflation, right? Like, I totally get those. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Stock market took a huge dip. People lost a lot of money. There's thoughts that's.
We can't put that on Joe Biden's plate, can we? I mean, you want to put everything on Joe Biden's plate, but you've told me before, right? And we've agreed on this, that the president doesn't control this stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wasn't. You just asked the question. What are people worried about?
Yes.
And I just said stock market took a dip. And then you.
Okay. You're right.
I wasn't talking about Joe.
I'll pull that back. That's fine.
Stock market took a dip. There's the price for housing is through the roof. Just to rent an apartment here in Utah is like $2,000. It's more to rent a tiny apartment than my mortgage, right?
Yep.
Housing crisis, that's really bad. Student loan debt skyrocketing. People are starting to put more credit on their credit cards because of inflation, and groceries are going through the roof.
So it's all inflation driven. Like it's just
inflation driven.
Like
everything you described.
I think you're actually right, Josh. I think
there's a looming possible worldwide famine. Okay, people that are paying attention are pretty worried about this. We discussed this with the Dutch farmers.
It's definitely not Americans that are paying attention.
I know. I'm like, the people you're describing is like stock market. Well, that's a small percentage of the population who actually owns stocks, right?
Then why are Americans so freaked out?
I think it's inflation and gas prices. I think it's exactly
it's stuff that actually affects everyday people.
Food is one of the highest things that skyrocketed too, and that's really hit everybody, right? And I think between gas and food, I think that's what's really.
You're not giving the American people enough credit.
I agree.
You know, I talk to people, and people do bring this. I was talking to this very sweet old lady on my route that she sometimes, the last couple of years, she's given me like big bushels of food this time of year because she works at a community garden down in Roy. Nice. This last week, she came out with like an onion and 2 peppers and an apple or something, and she said nothing grew this year. And I have a really good friend down the street who his job is to trade like in wheat. He buys it from the farmers and resells it. And he said, if we have another year like this, we're not going to have any bread next year. So there are people that are paying attention. You're right. The masses are like, I'm going to McDonald's. It's all good. But there are people paying attention to this stuff. And the outlook is kind of bleak. What do we have on the horizon that looks good? What are we hoping for?
That China doesn't invade Taiwan.
Pretty much, right? we have no leadership up there going, look at this great thing that we're doing. It's all just partisan politicking. So there's no leadership. Things aren't going great. I don't know anybody.
When was the last time we had good leadership then? And again, that's a genuine question. I'm not saying that it was under, Obama or Clinton or Carter. I'm not trying to pick like Democrats and be like,
depends on who you were, because for about half the country 2 years ago, a lot of people like Trump.
And
4 years before that,
Obama.
It was Obama. Some people really liked Obama, right?
Yeah, but okay. So
nonpartisan leadership that was everybody's president. That's been a while. Been a while.
So let me throw something out, right? Like the push to go to the moon.
Right.
Maybe that was something where everybody's like, ooh.
Everyone's like, yeah.
Sure. We've got a collective goal.
Yeah. No, sure. I like what you're saying.
Have we had a collective goal that we're like,
for
the country's pushing for X?
For a week after 9/11. That was I was talking about.
That's true.
That's true. I'll grant that.
I was talking to Jake and Hunter about that the other day, and they're like, man, we need to get back to that. I was like, well, it cost us like 2,000 lives and it only lasted a week. So if we really want that to last, we're going to have to nuke like LA or something. It's possible, but yeah.
Or a small town on a weekly basis.
Yeah. And I don't mean I don't mean to be nihilistic here, right?
But, no, it's a good question. And
I like what you're saying, Ryan.
It makes me think of the movie Watchmen. I don't know if you've seen that at the end where Dr. Manhattan's like, well, I need to be everybody's enemy because you all just keep killing each other.
Absolutely.
But if I'm the threat, you guys will all unite.
You'll unite, exactly. And it's
we don't have that.
No, it's right. It's probably the moon. It's maybe like Reagan's assassination attempt and the 9/11, and those are all bad things, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, except the moon, but it's it would be nice. It would be nice if we had, a star that we could all kind of be looking toward and trying to.
And that would really require some incredible leadership for us to pursue a common goal that's good. Yeah. But what I see happening is I keep hearing people talk about deglobalization. Things are falling apart on a global scale. Everybody's going to fracture out, and we're probably heading back into a period where we're going to see a lot of war. That might do it. If we have to go to war with China and it's bad, that'll probably do it, which is going to suck.
It probably would, unfortunately.
If it's not that, it's probably going to be some sort of revolution or civil war here in the U.S. I don't see what else fixes it because things are getting worse, I think. Well, despite our valiant effort on this podcast.
We have all the solutions. Could we collectively get behind climate change?
No.
I don't think the right wants to.
Nobody wants to. Look, that's the problem.
But it's going to affect us all, right? Like it's an impending threat we're seeing it right now, right? There are 30 million people in Pakistan who just got displaced from massive flooding, right? 30 million people. And we're getting floods every day here in the US, and we're having famines and starvation, and there's drought. There's not enough. Yeah, there's droughts, right? Like rivers are drying up, like people are dying.
I was thinking I was kind of thinking that. I was thinking the goal to get all over to EVs is like kind of along. Yeah. It's admirable, and I think we could actually possibly do that. This is actually what I think. If Elon figures out full self-driving Like that will be, I'm not kidding, that would be a massive catalyst to getting everyone to EVs. And I know those don't seem related, but I think they're totally related. And I think people would
Did
upgrade.
You see what California? You're talking about electric cars, right?
Yeah.
Did you see what California just did? They just banned in the future sale of gas cars, and then 3 days later they went, "Oh, nobody charge your cars today. We don't have any energy."
Oh no!
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
What is it? 2035
or something like that.
Okay, let me throw this at you. Right, I had this conversation. Shout out to JR, one of our awesome listeners. Had this conversation with him and Eric last night. We could potentially unite behind climate change if the two-party system wasn't there, because the left makes so much hay off of this. They make so much money campaigning off of this. In your heart of hearts, do you really think they want us to find an agreement so it's no longer a political issue? And it's not just climate change, it's gun control, it's abortion, it's any of these issues that we've been discussing for years. Do you really believe they want to just find an actual solution so we're not talking about it anymore? Because I don't, because the two-party system gets too much power, too much money, and makes too much political hay off of us fighting about it. Because there are obvious solutions to a lot of this. We already agreed, my whole Captain Planet spiel. Nobody wants to live on a toxic planet, but we can't find any kind of agreement on this. It's so, I'm sorry. That's why we're going to have a civil war.
I am perplexed by the Biden administration's response to Tesla. I would think they would embrace them, but they've been very antagonistic toward them. I don't know
because Elon has been very
he's
negative about Biden.
He's got more conservative, but I feel like that's almost been in response to the Biden administration's response. It's been very strange. Like when they've been like, because they had the EV platform thing or the summit, and they were like, GM is leading the way on EVs, and everyone's like, what? And like they didn't even invite Tesla to it, and it was like, and that's when Elon really came out and was like, what is going on? And he was like,
so political. That's all it is.
I don't know. So, is it political?
No. Weird. I don't think so. I
do.
I heard a really interesting interview with Elon Musk right after the Biden administration proposed, their big legislation package to kind of push EVs and stuff like that. And he actually said he didn't want any subsidies from the federal government.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he said that. I don't want any subsidies. And I think, I could be wrong here, I think the reason why Elon is saying that is because they're so far ahead of everybody else that
it'll help the competition.
Yeah, it'll help the competition. And he's the one to help the competition. He's winning, right? Like everybody knows when you think EVs, you think Tesla. That he's winning, right? And so if the federal government comes out and is like, we're going to subsidize this, then he's like, oh, that's going to screw us over because it's going to help the competition more than it's going to help us. We're doing great. We're fine. We don't need the subsidies. I don't know that that's his whole motivation, but I think that's part of why he's.
I don't know.
It could be.
Didn't he just open source some of his patents and stuff to help everybody catch up? I swear he did that. I could be wrong.
Their stuff is open source.
Yeah. I think he was.
There's no way
not on their AI.
There's no way they would make that open source. I mean,
not the AI, but I think some of the battery stuff. Maybe I swear he did something.
He had a bunch of his stuff is open source, but I'm gonna have to look at what it is. Is it patents or?
So he
wouldn't give away patents either, because their battery technology is the primary reason why they're clobbering everybody else. They've got way better batteries, and some people are getting close, but their battery technology for years, and they keep improving it, is way better. My Tesla runs on Linux, so it's a Linux-based operating system, but all their software that they overlay on top of that, they're going to keep that proprietary. There's no way they would give that away to the competition.
Yeah, it says right here on Tesla's site, all their patents they're open source. And
there you go. So I think you're being a little too critical of Elon there. That might be part of it, but I think he really is. I mean, he's got so much. Well, he's got so much money at this point, and he really is altruistic. The Democrats hate him now because he's shifting to the right.
Altruistic? How?
He just opened up all of his patents.
I really
wants
don't
to
think he's
colonize
altruistic, but
Mars.
I believe that's okay. I think
he wants to repopulate the Earth with just his seed.
I think he's got. I
That's
think both his
altruist.
companies have really good mission statements that everyone
Yeah.
like. I think he's done a great job of coming up with really good mission statements for both his companies.
Hey,
Right.
I own Tesla stock and I own a Tesla.
I know. Ryan's
on board with
like
this,
Tesla
right? Like,
fanboy here.
Yes, I'm not opposed to what he's trying to do with the companies. Like, if SpaceX was publicly traded, I would own SpaceX stock.
Yeah.
I'm behind what he's trying to do. I don't always agree with like how he does things personally, but that's beside the point, right? Like, the vision behind his companies, I'm 100% on board. Now, that said, I do think he's full of crap when it comes to self-driving. So when I bought my Tesla in 2018, they tried to upsell me on full self-driving, saying,
Yes.
oh, it'll be out in 6 months. It'll be out in a year. That was in 2018. It's not coming out this year. It's not coming out next year.
There's a meme that says self-driving is coming out in 2012 and it's crossed out. 2013 crossed out. 2014 and it's like goes, and every year he's promised and it hasn't happened.
He keeps promising because the technology is not there, right? Yeah. And when I bought mine, there was basically nothing, right? You could get like security features or whatever, and then there was assisted, like the assisted driving package, and then there was the full self-driving. And the full self-driving wasn't even like, it didn't do anything. So I got the assisted, and it's pretty good. When I'm on the freeway, it's pretty slick software, but I'd say once every 80 miles, it slams on the brakes at 75 miles per hour for no reason.
I've heard that, yeah. It's
right?
like, oh, stop light! Oh, we're all gonna die. Okay, never mind.
It's terrible.
All right, I just saw something. Yeah.
And that's cutting edge technology. Like, I get it, but it's not ready. It's not ready for them. And when you hit construction. Oh yeah. You want to see a Tesla doing 75 run into construction and see what happens? You don't want to see that full self-driving. That's a disaster.
No, I'm okay with them holding it off until they get it right.
You heard, I don't know if you've heard this, but he's basically said, in order to solve full self-driving, I have to basically create a computer that can think through almost anything. And if we're going to do that, I might as well make robots. And that's why they decided to start making robots. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They haven't started selling the robots yet.
No, it's not on the market, or I don't even know if they have a date yet, but they've been prototyping them. But he's basically saying, if I solve this problem, I can solve that. They can do dishes.
They can solve everything.
They can mow the lawn. Right,
sure.
Exactly.
But they haven't solved the problem.
No,
right?
They haven't.
No one solved the problem. So it's the immortal 10 years off. That's when self-driving is coming, right? 10 years plus N, whatever, it's not coming.
If anyone solves it, it will be Tesla, in my opinion. It's probably they're doing it the right way in that they are beta testing it.
Well, yeah,
every day.
I'm their beta tester, right?
Yes, like you are.
It's kind of terrifying what they're doing. They're saying, you guys go out and beta test our software, and if you kill somebody, that sucks. But good luck.
I've done enough software development that's the way you solve a problem, is like you do it through a million cuts, right? Death by a million or 1,000 cuts. It's the same principle. Anyway, but whatever. Where were we?
I don't know. Next time.
I have no idea. I checked out of the whole conversation.
Ryan is told us, he took us off track. Sorry. He doesn't want to talk about the country, the direction of the country. He's like,
I don't think we know. I don't think we know why it's so bad. We all postulated, right, that it's like inflation and gas prices and all of the things that are related to that.
Yeah. Yes.
Shocking.
I totally
the liberal thinks everything's great.
I didn't say everything's great. Come on, Josh.
And Ryan won't even say it's going in the right direction. He's saying,
I'm not trying to pigeonhole you. I'm trying to bait you. There's a very big difference.
That's fair. You can try and bait me.
All right.
It worked. Already did. It was beautiful.
When?
Okay, guys, that was great. I enjoyed.
Done.
Yes, those are our 3 questions. Any final statements, thoughts that either of you would like to submit?
Now I've got to try and think of a way to bait Josh. I should just bring Race back up and watch him get furious again.
Yeah,
just watch
that will do it.
Red.
No, to be fair, when somebody dropped the N-bomb in front of me, I called them out. When they did it in front of you, you walked away. So
Oh.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired!
I did proceed to shoot those people, but
But they didn't know why, so you didn't fix any problems.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Josh?
But hopefully you did, put a couple extra balls downrange. That's not a terrible thing. No, that was actually pretty fun. I should probably apologize that I got mad there. I just, that
Your brother's very
not
forgiving.
not that long
you
ago.
You attack him every time we do this podcast, and he still comes back for more.
Well, people actually like that better when we're nice to each other. People are like, that was boring. Even Ryan's very sweet, genteel wife. Like, you guys need to go at it. I want some blood this time.
That's good.
It wasn't that long ago that if you called somebody a racist, you were getting punched in the face. And then, Ryan and Vardy we went the rounds with this, right? It was there was fighting words, and then it got overused. Yeah, it is what it is. No, we're good. Sorry, I got a little too heated, but that was actually a really fun one.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed our episode, our rapid fire episode, and we hope to see you all next time.
Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.